Hi, I'm Eduardo Sajgalik. I am on Team Heavy Play Worldly Council, and I ended up top 4 at Pro Tour Lorwyn Eclipsed, thanks to this deck that you're seeing on screen. It's called Izzet Elementals, but really it's kind of using the mana base, right, of Cavern of Souls, Secluded Courtyard, and even that 9/1 Eclipse Realms to do what I want, right? So the big thing with this deck, especially for the Pro Tour, was really powerful, was having access to 4 copies of Sunderflux. So you're seeing free right now, we'll get to that. Because there were so many cup decks, and that essentially was the best card. It was the card to play for that weekend, and it panned out well. However, the metagame has changed. The cup decks did not do well at the Pro Tour. We're seeing a rise in control decks. We're seeing Lessons come up as a result. We're seeing Landfall come up as well, since that deck is pretty good against the control decks. So we're going to go a little bit away from dealing with Cub, and we're going to go into dealing with these new little toys. So things that... so I haven't changed the list too much fundamentally. You should try to change the list and test different things. I think for this, I wanted to make sure you had access to a deck that was relatively similar, so you can go from a solid basis and then do the change you'd like to do. But importantly here, right, we're using that engine. Ashleen Rekindle, Flamebraider, and that's powering up towards Vibrance, Wistfulness, Deceit, and some new little toys as well. What kind of fulfills the deck as well is playing Roaming Throne, doubling those elemental triggers. Much more important actually now that there's less Cub, because Roaming Throne is a really good friend on its own. The Ward 2 means your opponent has to, if they have an answer, kind of spend their whole turn on it. On the interactive suite, the elementals kind of act two ways, right? So you have the value when you get to 5 or 6 mana, but early on you're playing semi-inefficient spells, right? We're playing cards like Volcanic Hammer or 2 mana Coercion, like looking at your opponent's hand and picking a card, and those are not that efficient, but they're good enough when we get to kind of that late game position. The big things on the interactive spells as well that are actually spells are Bounce Off and Winter Night Stories. The way the mana base is constructed, you're effectively a monocolored deck when it comes to cards that are not elementals. That's why main deck you only see Bounce Off and Winter Night Stories, is because to get the amount of blue sources you want for these cards, you kind of have to, that's the only thing you can do, right? So here, 4 Bounce Off was very good, right, against Cub because it bounces the land. You could argue to play less, but it does have 2 important functions. The first one is there's more landfall, and Bounce Off is basically the only card that's going to save you. The rest of your deck is sorcery speed, so you really need something that can kind of target that haste land that can kill you out of nowhere. And Winter Night Stories, unbelievable in this deck. It looks like this deck's a bit clunky and it wouldn't benefit for Winter Night Stories, but often what happens is your opponent will slow down to kill your Ashleen Rekindle, your Flamebraider, so on turn 3, being capable of using that as an option, and then later on drawing free as you kind of go into your mid-range value plan is really powerful. The mana base we'll go to. I don't really like the free beating pools. I couldn't find better. You need green for Vibrance and Wistfulness. I'm not the biggest fan of Quarry Mountain Monastery, so these are cards you can look at replacing, I think, in the future if you can figure it out. That said, I needed enough blue sources. I wanted a value land, and those kind of fit the build. But you'll notice a lot of rainbow lands, and I think importantly when you play this deck, you need like access to effectively as many rainbow lands as possible, so you can use when you cast a 5 or 6 mana elemental, both modes. That's, I think, a priority. We'll go into the sideboard and changes, right? So there's a Catharsis there. That's like, I guess, the big change. One I wish I had thought about for the Pro Tour list, but essentially I only saw Jeskai Control. We were testing blue-white, but I didn't think it would be a big presence. And with Jeskai Control, the matchup's relatively okay. I think you can put on pressure, and the fact that their clock is so slow with Jeskai Revelation makes the Elementals deck, in my opinion, favored in that matchup. But we moved to blue-white control of Day of Judgment. We moved to blue-black control with Deadly Cover-Up, and that changes the dynamics a lot. I think haste damage out of nowhere is good. And one of the neat combos you can have is using, if you go Roaming Throne on turn 4, with Catharsis on turn 6, or like for 6 mana, the game ends on the spot. You can actually go Ashleen, Roaming Throne, Catharsis, if you get there. The other thing you can do is using Bounce Off. So if you have Roaming Throne on just 4 mana naturally, and you only have 5 mana, you can go Catharsis, make 2 Kifkins with the trigger, the evoke trigger. Then you bounce the Catharsis, cast it for red. Since these are doubled, right? You make 4 1/1s, and then you give your team +2/+2 in haste. Not quite 20, but close enough. So it's possible that deck should play more. We're just going to try it out. In the board, there's a second one. I don't think you could play really more than 3, but you could play up to 3. Otherwise, the sideboard, a little less against Cobb. I cut a Pyroclasm. That was the main thing. There's one less Spell Snare, which is good against Lessons too, but I don't think you want too much of that card. The Thunderflock's in the sideboard in case you do face those matchups. I like having access into 75 to this card as a 4-of, but the metagame is shifting to a way where you're trimming down on these. They aren't the worst, but clearly there's a target. But yeah, 2 Spell Snares, more counter magic like these. Detect Intrusions are there. The Disdainful Stroke there. I think there'll be a little less on the graveyard side. So I trimmed the Soul Guide Lantern. You still do have the 2 Pit of Offerings with Vibrance, which is kind of important. So this land acts as like a main deck graveyard hate piece. I know my camera's covering it, but essentially you get to exile free cards, and that's sufficient because of Superior Spider-Man and how that works. Being able to target your own graveyard, right, if you had to Deceit early and you don't want your opponent to have access to that, is important. We're rounding off the sideboard with 2 copies of Pyroclasm, 2 copies of Seer, the 4th Deceit, the 2nd Catharsis, the 4th Thunderflock, and the 2nd Pit of Offerings, which I'm showing you here actually in its full textual glory. But yeah, essentially mid-range value deck, a lot of fun. I don't know if this is the right choice moving forward as the metagame evolves, but I want to make sure I present a updated version. Then you'll have to decide whether this deck is right for your tournament or not. All right, so I'm playing against Christopher Larson, so this is almost like a replay of our top 4 at the Pro Tour. Basically, this matchup's pretty bad. The sideboard's like a little more engineered to have a chance, but yeah, pretty straightforward mulligan. There's way too many lands. So this doesn't have an elemental, which is awkward, and there's only 1 land. So this is close to a mulligan, but at 6 I would keep, especially on the draw. Having access to Ashling gives more options. I am honestly considering losing the bounce off here over a land, since the deck is kind of mana hungry. It is close, but we're going to discard a land anyways to Ashling, so I'd rather lose this bounce off. We have 4 copies. Winter Knight's excellent, of course, when we mulligan, so just play this tapped. Alright, so now this walks into like all the removal on the planet if I play Flame Braider. But given that I don't really have anything else worth doing, I think it's fine to just run it out into a removal spell. It'll die, but like you kind of have to lock out the cards, and then we can Winter Knight next turn, hopefully. The fact it died to shoot the Sheriff probably means there's no Requiting X, so that does increase the chances that I want to play a Flame Braider maybe next turn. But we can play Ashling plus Flame Braider on 1 turn. Potentially. Yeah, so Multiversal Passage. Yeah, so we get Thoughtseize here. I suspect this Winter Night Stories is going away. Might be one of the creatures, but they're redundant, right? So might as well take the card advantage slot here. So this one, now that Ashling kind of does both, I could play it. So that's an option. I could go Ashling discarding this bounce off because I don't think it's very good, and I still rather have the lands. And most of the top decks in the deck would work with Ashling. Deceit doesn't, but if that's the case, I could just go Winter Knight if Ashling... well, you can't really, sorry. It doesn't work on the mana, but... yeah, let's just play Ashling. I just need more relevant cards right now. We might also get hit by Spider-Man Deceit here. That would be unfortunate, but... not really much we can do in this spot. This is also why the matchup can be a bit hard. It's like your best card is Winter Night Stories, but it's hard to land it super cleanly. So here we're... if I... Winter Night, unfortunately, is going to take the whole turn. So that's interesting. The Spider-Man went away. All right. So if I flip Ashleen, I can't actually use the mana here. I think I'm actually going to just... I could Winter Knight next turn, so I could go... My options are either here to just play just Winter Knight or play Flame Braider. Given what's going on, I think I want to do the Winter Knight this turn, honestly. So I'm going to decline the flip. And name this on Elemental. It's just so important to have card advantage. Yeah, and it was 2 mana. Yeah, it's not possible. So here we can discard the second Ashling is fine to lose. We could also lose this Flame Braider. Yeah, Flame Braider probably actually here. Just give less info on our hand. Next turn we might get hit by the 6/6, so pressure is really important. But there's little to be done here. Yeah, so we're looking here at draw free makes sense on Chris's side. If Ashleen dies, we at least get to Vibrance for our land for Deceit. So Ashleen's surviving. So in this case, I do want to flip her. I could Deceit. This is actually a pretty good turn to do so, the Thoughtseize mode. So this will bring us to 6 mana. Yeah, I think we have to. Yeah, 6 mana, yeah. Black. And then I have to play the land that's known. Cast full. So we're not going to bounce anything here. We're just going to Thoughtseize. So, 2 deadly cover-ups, which is great. When you see this much removal, you just take whatever card is the most unique. I think there's a reasonable call here, honestly, for the Cavaro. I don't think Chris is going to exile Ashleen. He's probably going to exile the Deceit. So we could also get rid of the second deadly cover-up, but I don't. Given that there's going to be a huge spree count here. But Vibrance can get Pit of Offerings and make this much worse. Let's get the Fret, actually. Also, like, the Winter Knight with that is really good, so. Yeah, we can play Vibrance next turn for both modes, and let's see what I'd exile. Probably Winter Knight to see. Yeah, there's a lot we can get rid of here, so it's not too bad. I think we're going to see a deadly cover-up. Maybe not. Also, putting on pressure is important against Avarice, because you don't want like the full mode of Avarice to kind of hit you. Yeah. So, interestingly, exiled the Winter Knight stories. That's kind of intriguing. So we got our Deceit. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Deceits are gone. My hand is known. I'm just gonna play Vibrance this turn. You could set up, but I think like the getting rid of this graveyard plus the double mode is really good. And that's why like these lands are so important. So yeah, we're gonna ding, and then we're gonna get a. We could get a value land here. I kind of like Pit here though, just to get rid of the Evidence Graveyard. So we're gonna exile the Deceit. Doesn't matter which one. Trying to remember. Give me a second on the deck list. I know it feels weird, right? Because I played the Pro Tour and I should know this by heart, but with travels and stuff, it gets harder. Yeah, the Spider-Man doesn't really matter. All right, let's exile the most expensive card. Like, a lot of this matchup is dealing random damage. It does add up, right? Like, the Avarice was free, this is free, like, all of it adds up. And if you really wanted to beat this, I think you need Catharsis more than anything else. Just because it's, like, 8 damage after a deadly cover-up, pretty hard to deal with. Yeah, so that's annoying, but not unsurprising. Yeah, so the Virus is gone, of course. So here, there's a lot of removal in front of us. So I think this is the best I can do is probably a setup turn. While putting on pressure. Like, if I play Wistfulness, it's just like, deal with it, and yeah. I also left the Spider-Man with Arch Enemy's Charm, which isn't ideal now that I think about it. Let's see here. If I draw free, I play both. You don't really want to deadly cover up that. Actually, I could just go, let's see. There's not really anything to do about this Winter Night Story, so I can just go Wistfulness into one of the Elementals. Arena's not letting me tap correctly, though. That's annoying. Whatever, it doesn't matter on this, and then... Sorry, it's an Arena's being annoying. I'm just gonna cast it like this. There we go. Not sure why I did that, but sure. Quarry Mountain is much better than Starting Town here. And then I'm going to just cast this Ashling, discarding the Breeding Pool. Yeah, so now this should get killed because it's needed. Getting this back isn't too bad, but there's not really anything to land here. It's probably going to be a Wrath, but I can't block. Like, I need... there might be a lifelink here. That'd be actually kind of fun. From Arch Enemy's Charm. Let's make it a 7/7. Yeah. So, yeah, go to 10. Because there's no pressure. It's so important to deal pressure. What are we doing here? Okay, Spider-Man. Oh, okay, yeah. This happened a lot as well. Chris was doing this a lot, copying the Wistfulness. Roaming From, that's a really good one here. Let's see, do I have mana for all of this? Probably not. This is 6/8. Yeah, no, I'm off. So I probably want to set up. Since Chris doesn't know about this Vibrance, but is likely to take it. So let's see what we do here. I think this turn is best used for Roaming Throne plus Winter Nights, right? So I'm going to flip Ashling anyways. That's just a guarantee. And then I can go Roaming Throne with 2 left. I can just draw like infinite cards. I think that's what I'm going to do. Like the pressure here. I mean, might Arch Enemy's Charm something here, but we'll deal with that if we have to deal with that. So it doesn't really matter here, just blue-red. Or whatever. Yep, this is fine. Elemental. Then we can Winter Night, that's fine. Sunderflock is really poor here. And then we can do this. Then we can discard the Flame Raider. And at this point, I'm going to take 2 for a bounce off. It's pretty telegraphed, but we'll take it in stride. It just prevents like the lifelink from this if it does come to that. If Chris like decides to Deceit, it's a lot of mana for the turn. If there's a deadly cover up, I can return the Roaring Throne. And then next turn I can go Roaring Throne, Ashling, discard 2 irrelevant cards, like keep comboing. Life Total is not usually that relevant from the elemental side, but it does add up, especially this is going to be attack down to 6. So that's 2 hits from Restless Reef. Got to be careful here. Also, Avarice is target player, so that's another thing. If there were 2 Avarices here, I'd be dead. But, I mean, that'd be a cool way to go, I think, so I'm okay with it. Alright, so here, this doesn't have any other utility. I could save my Ashling, actually, here, which seems a bit weird. I don't think I mind. It's fine if Ashling dies here. Yeah, so now he's going to do it on upkeep, or try to. Actually, you do it in response to the Vibrance. It's much better. Because then no matter what I do, it doesn't work for me. So I have to think here. I might just attack, to be fair. If, let's see what the animation is for. But then you still have free for Arch Enemy's Charm. So that's close. Could also just play this Ashling first. That triggers twice already. Yeah, let's do this Ashling. Force a little bit of action here. So this is going to come up. There's Ward. So now the problem, right, is I'm not at much life. So I kind of have to let this resolve. I just prefer using like that card trades. I might need this bounce off to survive here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I can play Vibrance plus, I think this Flame Braider should go as a result. That's not too bad actually. So we're gonna name Elemental. We're gonna do this kicked. I probably could be playing better here, by the way. It's just I'm just playing for show, so to speak, and trying to figure out the best plays. All right. So just here, and then we will get Thundering Falls, and then end turn. I just need to not go to free against Avarice. And then hopefully, if we have a next turn, Winter Knight can do a lot of work too. So that's a bit annoying. I think it's best here if I save my Vibrance, to be honest. All right, do we have a Deceit in the graveyard? No. Yeah. So this looks like lethal. I don't mind the mill here. I guess mill itself. Okay. So Chris didn't play a land, of course. So that would be replayed. So this time I do have to chump block no matter what. I'm just thinking what to bounce here. The Seat's probably the worst one to bounce. Actually, it's kind of expensive. I don't mind it here. Yeah, I can't like attack with it either, so yeah, it gets a Winter Knight. So block to not die. Yeah, the next turn Chris has access to, yeah, but we get to, I think we Winter Knight first. I don't want to tap all these caverns, just once fine here. Let's see. I'm at 4, so I do need to have blockers here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do have a bounce off at least as well. The last one that will not be seen potentially. So I think this turn, since I have 6, I might as well Vibrance dealing damage. I'll discard, I think, the Ashling here, since you can't like deceit and attack. So yeah, that's 6, and then bounce off. Okay. Yeah, that would work. So do both modes. That puts me to 6 as well, which is super relevant here. We will get a, I guess, a cavern. Just any untapped land here is the same. And then I can't. So one thing I could do here is like bait Chris into attacking for lethal. But I should have gotten a blue source if I wanted to do that, so I can't. So that was a misstep. It's okay. These games are complicated, especially on Arena, like with the clock being like this. Like in paper, you might be able to, but like get used to playing the deck. Even me, like knowing the deck after the Pro Tour, I'm like clearly a little rusty. So yeah, here we're gonna see Deceit Seas to kind of know if the course is clear, but I don't. Let's see. If Chris drew a removal spell here, it's pretty hard to attack for lethal. So we're just going to accept this. If there's removal and, like, to be fair, it forces a chump block, and well. Yeah, so so just attacks for 4, and then that's cool. That's a cool way to have a lethal. Yeah, I go to 2, and then Avarice me, and then we're good. Okay, next game. Oh, I mean, yeah, with that draw, probably not getting there anyways. All right, cool. So I like trimming bounce offs. They're fine, but not the best. Thunderflock's clearly terrible. We're gonna board in these counter spells. The Deceit is a little awkward, by the way, sometimes. Like, it's okay in the matchup, but, like, give it access for Spider-Man. This isn't that good. What it does is you can play it, and you get your hand discarded, and it can give you a counter spell that can't be fought, seized, or discarded. So we'll do Pit, we'll do Catharsis. So this may be this is likely too many cards. I like trimming Flame Breeders against Hex. So, and because I added a land, I can either cut a land or another mana creature here, or a bounce off. But I don't like going below 2 bounce off, I think. So my Inkling, maybe we don't need both pits. They are good against the deck though, like because of Spider-Man and Collect Evidence. I could trim. I have less need for blue early, so I can trip a Breeding Pool. It's possible you want 26 lands straight up. Like, I'm a fan, but yeah. But it's a little bit why the matchup's harder. It's you're both playing like kind of mid-range value, but your opponent has access to a combo finish, which the Elemental deck doesn't in its Pro Tour iteration. So like that makes that matchup harder, right? Like one has access to Wrath, so like there's more catch-up mechanisms if you're behind, and if you're ahead, it's easier to dictate the terms of the game from the blue-black side. Right, we're gonna play first. That's pretty good. All right, well, this is gonna get taken almost. I think it's fine to actually delay this. Start with the Surveil land. I don't need to play this on turn 1. It's not like that important. I'd rather try to Surveil to a 2-drop here. Winter Night, or it's kind of tough because like the Winter Night in hand has high value, but I can't decline free value here. Worth noting, I cannot play the Soul Guide Lantern because you have to choose a card. The Pit doesn't, so this is a bit awkward here. I think I'll just play a Starting Town, and then next turn probably Chris is gonna go like Deceit or Duress here, or keep mana up for removal. But I didn't play a thing, so. A little bit of a weird hand, to be honest. Like, surveilling the Winter Knight is actually kind of a complicated spot there. Like, I did it, like, kind of naturally, right? Oh, I get a flashback card. Yeah. No setup. All right. Well, that's good, because it allows me to not play colorless land out, but have my mana. Yeah, because this is mandatory. You have to exile target card from a graveyard, and that's not really what I want to be doing. It's a little bit awkward, of course. He might be waiting a turn for the Roaming Throne, but we'll just play this on Elemental, and we'll pass, as silly as that seems. Yeah, so Duress. So I'll take the Soul Guide, of course. Yeah, and then you, yeah. Wanted to make sure, like, he wanted to make sure the Roaming Throne doesn't get there. Which to me makes a lot of sense. That said, we are going to exile some stuff. So we're going to exile this Deceit, this Duress, and I am going to exile the Roaming Throne so that he doesn't have an easy Spider-Man this turn. Next. That's actually a really nice draw here. There's not really a way to kill this. So we even get to Winter Knights this turn too. So it's really messed up. Which land might I want? I already have 2 blue lands. This does need red. I do need one more land. So I'm going to name Elemental on this. And then that lets me Winter Knight. So that's fine. Elemental. And then we're going to do this. That's a lot of lands. We're not gonna. I could discard this Pit. Honestly, I think discarding these 2 is probably better. It gives me the Pit later, and I already have enough blue mana. I should be fine. I'd rather have another Cavern. I think. Yeah, I have a starting time to get. So now there shouldn't be a removal. Like, I am taking a huge time on the clock. This is on me. Chris is playing super fast and efficiently. Yeah. So. You could also choose Assassin on this if you're worried about shooting the Sheriff, but yeah. Let's see here. I will probably Vibrance. But then I can Catharsis a bit later. It's a good turn for Vibrance, honestly. Yeah. So we're going to search something. Probably this Quarry Mountain just to get value for later. I'll just play it out. Yep. So that's going to copy the Roaming Throne. So that was the correct call, by the way, on the... All right, so Deceit. This is setting up for a Deceit on his side. So it's kind of a tough call here. He has to top deck a land first. That's the thing. I could just play that. I could attack first if I'm not going to Catharsis, right? Catharsis is 5/9. Could even attack with a token, honestly, here. I think just dealing as much damage as possible is okay here. Then you have to take Deceit. Yeah, no matter what, there's going to be good options. Yeah, just stack it so you make the 1/1s, of course. And then I'm just going to attack all. I don't really care if a 2/2 dies here. I'd rather trade a 2/2 for 2 damage, putting to 6 here. Could play Pit of Offerings. There's just nothing here to get. Let me think. Next turn, I would have these 2. Oh, I would also have the mana for this. Just... It's a little loose, but whatever. And I don't have creatures, right? Yeah, so this. So now Chris is hoping to draw an untapped land. If it's and an untapped blue land, actually. There's not many in the deck. Like a Thoughtseize is not going to do it. A Deadly Cover-Up is a little awkward, but at least this goes away. Yes. Oh, that is hilarious. All right, Catharsis is doing the work. I'm pretty happy. Cool. I'm going to kick this. Actually, I could get the good one. Might have a Hax, actually. Yes, just pay 2, of course. Yeah, so Hex here. So this would, yeah, so here, I don't really mind Excruciator in this spot. Like, let's see, Chris Excruciators. Actually, it might be kind of awkward. Let me, like, it doesn't matter. I have to take, if I take Spider-Man or Excruciator, I might actually take the Avarice here. Yeah. I could attack with a 3/4. It's not super efficient. All right. Yeah, I'm playing very slowly. Thank you for reminding me. I might still lose, right? Like, I think the Avarice is the best bet here. Right. Yep. Exiles that. I'm not even sure if that's correct. You lose it on cover up. All right. So we're going to play Ashling. Try to top deck lethal. If not, I have Intrusion to help. All right. Well, that's pretty nice here. I can attack with both. And then we're gonna, yep, can't decline the value. Play this. Yeah. Cool. I can't state how much better Chris is as a player than I am. So I apologize for that. Okay. This seems fine by me. But yeah, Catharsis has seemed good. Like, I wish I had seen it because we did talk about it in testing, but kind of like swept it under the rug, kind of going like, well, you know, it's not seen play, it can't be that good. It's a mistake. Just the thing was, we thought the Jeskai control matchup again was good, and it is, but didn't foresee that like somebody might build a different control version, like the CFB blue black controlled version also exists, and you know. Like I think like it's the type of card that really helps. It's interesting, right? Like I don't think I'm gonna get as good a standard deck in the future. Like it was super good for this tournament. So yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this, of course. One land's not okay. But yeah, that game, the Pit of Offerings actually panned out well. All right, this is tough. Like, Ashling into Roaming From is so strong. I really like all of these cards. It's really tough because Vibrance with these is good. But I think I have to bottom this. I need the lands. I need everything. That's sad. Obviously get massively punished. Just tapped. So the problem with the seed is really nice here, but I have to discard a Roaming Front anyways here. I can't discard the seed into Spider-Man. So Ashling survives. That's really nice. Might not survive now. Okay. Winter Knight's an amazing draw, so we're gonna use that to our advantage. This Flame Braider can go. Arguably could Spider-Man the Flame Braider, but there's just way better options. I'll draw for you. Okay, so I need to do whatever the best play is here, which is, it's gotta be Roaming Throne. Yeah. Will point out, this is why I like the Rainbow Lance so much, is like not having enough of the Rainbow Lance puts you in spots like this where like I can't double kick these cards, and that's a real problem. But like I should be able to draw one, right? If I Soul Guide Lantern, I might remove my own Roaming Throne. Hopefully we're drawing a land of here, of course. Yeah, these middle turns are the hardest ones, for sure, for both players. Like, how do you set up? What are you trying to do? If I draw a land, it's super powerful because I can go Roaming Throne plus Winter Night, Harmonize, and that sets up for Catharsis or Deceit. Yeah, but it's... Okay, well, that's not what I get. So, I think I just cast it again, and... Yeah, it's a little awkward. Yeah, no land here. Deck's mana hungry, like you have to play 25, and like cutting that breeding pool, like for one of these two. Yeah, and now the problem is without land, if Excruciator comes, I'm dead. But probably this is getting killed if the end. Okay, so we're gonna exile all my Roaming Thrones. I don't think these in the graveyard are getting affected though, since you want to keep them for Spider-Man. But yeah, next turn I'm gonna Winter Knight and whatever I need to play Flame Braider. Oh really? Exiled, okay. Let's see. Blue-red should be fine. Alright, so let's see, I could lose... This is a lot of value. Probably almost too much. But I'm gonna hard cast an Elemental, I think, for the rest of time. So let's just get rid of this Ashling and play Flame Braider. Yeah. Elemental, play Flame Braider. Super interesting matchup usually, but can be difficult. So, and what's nice now is that, like, this land, right, allows you to Vibrance, which allows me to get a land, and, like, getting a land allows me to Winter Knight pretty much guaranteed no matter what. If I hit a land, I can Deceit plus it, or I can... So that's interesting. Playing... Okay, I'm gonna guess there's a Spider-Man coming. Which explains this Deceit play here, right? Yeah, just starving me on mana is correct. Yeah, and then, yeah. And now you get to do the whole shebang, yeah. Yep, so Flame Blader's gone. Vibrance gets taken, because you can't let me Vibrance plus Winter Knight, that's too clean. Even if I top deck a land, it's kind of awkward. Like, I have to Deceit probably this. I mean, I have to. I'm pretty sure here. So we're going to do that. And we can do both modes. It does give him another Spider-Man, which gets Roaming Throne probably, but... Let's see. There's two. And there's Winter Knight, so that's actually really bad for me. There's no Deceits, though. So, do I actually care? I think I might take this, shoot this Sheriff, actually. Because I don't have the mana to play Soul Guide Lantern this turn. Well, let's take the shoot. Let's put on some pressure. Like, I have Catharsis. I need to somehow have an option to win the game. Of course. Well, that makes these winter nights really bad. Okay. I am in what I would call a boatload of trouble. That was really frustrating, but nothing you can do, right? So, I could Catharsis to make the Deceit good in. It's probably my best bet. There's a Restless Reef, so my time is very short here. The problem is if I do that, then you get that, and I don't just see a way out. So I have to, I think, plan ahead. Let's see what planning ahead looks like. Gonna have to Soul Guide. I only have 5 cards too, so like if I draw a card, this Restless Reef is bad. I think I have to Winter Night effectively here. Try to hit a bounce off. I don't think I actually have another option here. Let's see what we do here. This Wistfulness is basically dead. I mean, the lands are too... Well, one of them isn't. So I'd need like one of the last cards to be it. Yeah, the only thing I could do... yeah, there's not much to be done here. Unfortunately, drew that. And that's why this deck is so powerful. Like, this plus this is really hard for this deck to do anything. Because even if I Soul Guide... I mean, I'll do it just to show. But, like, even if I might actually... I could make 2/1/1s, play Flamebreaker, Soul Guide. Okay. So I need to tap red. So I'm going to Soul Guide... try to draw a land. There's kind of anything you want to copy here, so I just want to make sure it's not really a difference. Just not double roaming front, I guess. Doesn't matter much. Here, I'll draw... I need white. Yeah, I'm dead. There's nothing to be done here. It's okay. Elemental, like, just cast this with Evoke for white. And Chris will, I mean, whoever he attacks with, Restless Reef or not, doesn't really matter here. Yeah, basically, yeah. That's why this matchup's hard, is like, the games are kind of close, and then they play this, and you have one turn. If you have pressure, you can win, and otherwise you lose. So it's a little bit of a repeat of the Pro Tour match, but it kind of felt like that. It's like a rough matchup for sure. Like, you need everything to run well, right? Like, you need to hit your land drops, you need something to survive, you need to, like, dodge a lot of these rafts, etc. It's a rough one. Tell you, like, he's tanking, but he's won. I'll just do it so that he has his thought process. Is there a Deceit? I don't think so. No. Just gonna make as large a board as possible. Sure, might as well, because I'm behind on cards. There's 2 left. It looks weird, by the way, to Winter Night and draw, but in the position I'm in, right? If I'd lose to Restless Reef regardless. So I guess I could have, what was it, Flamebreaker in the first Catharsis and hope like the second one's in the deck, but that's just so unlikely. Yeah, no, and he doesn't have to attack. That's the other thing. You can just stick around and wait. Don't even know what you copy here. Just roaming from is probably fine. Inspire Human Hero. Elemental, sure. So it was in the deck. So it wasn't completely crazy. Let me think. Pretty sure. Yeah, 17. There's no way. It's just not even... Stratus, it's not even possible. Like I can play this, bounce off. I'll just do it for the show, but yeah, it's just no way. Yeah. Like there's 2 cards, but we'll leave the demon in play. The demon deserves to stick around. Right. Yeah, just block 2 things and the game's over. Yeah, take 8, doesn't matter. I'll just let him pass the turn so I lose. There's a little skull that appears when you die to Millen if you're not used to Arena. Had all these. You could have killed me with it. You could have. Oh no, it's in the graveyard. But yeah. All right. Cool. There we go. There's the skull. All right. Well, kind of matched what I would expect. Anyways, you can make the matchup a bit better, but it is really rough. I think strategically it's rough. I don't think you can really fix it. The deck's good in other matchups, but this one, yeah, it's rough. Cool. All right, so we are playing the Elementals deck against Temur Harmonizer, being able to play really good against a turn 4 combo deck. I'm not sure what to think about this matchup. Like, the bounce-offs are probably quite important, I would say. This hand, so the opponent has a Spell Snare and free Burst Lightning, but I kind of like having access to the early game. I can also start on Thundering Falls, too, to try to dig to some action. Catharsis is okay, but I don't think this is the elemental we want, so we're going to dig for something else. So that's going to be really important down the line. So what we're going to do here... could play Flame Braider, but I don't have anything to play off of it. So Ashling would give us some options. So it's kind of tough here to know exactly, but I'm fine with Flame Braider, I think. That can cast Ashling plus something else. Yeah, sure. Puts pressure as well to get red mana right away. The main problem with Flame Raider of Ashling is you can go Mountain, Burst Lightning, Fetch Land, but Seer's fine. That would have gotten Ashling too. So, all right, we're gonna do this. Discard. I don't really need 2 Breeding Pools, so we'll lose one of them. Cavern's nice. Let's just play the 1 Breeding Pool, and then we can Cavern Deceit. We can't Cavern Deceit because Ashling takes mana to flip, but she might get killed anyways. So I really need to draw some action this turn. I could also just die. Like Harmonizer plus Fabled Passage here is enough. And unfortunately, of course, I mean, drew some lands, but like you have to play a lot of lands in this deck. It's fine. So a bit behind, but not end of the world behind. It's also possible if I draw other action, I might play Deceit for just black. It is a little awkward, just from a I want to do more perspective. So drawing like another land's really bad. Let me think here. Don't have much action. I think it's worth thought seizing in this spot, but not the biggest fan of this play. I gotta be honest. Just have to hope my top decks are good. Okay, so well, we would have died. So I guess that was correct. I need to take one of the combo pieces here. So I'm gonna get. So there's less. There's as many of both. I guess I take the Might Form Harmonizer here. Just play Steam Vents tapped, and we'll attack for 1. There is the Clock Tell because I'm not like full controlling to talk about bounce off, but like this is more for entertainment. If you were playing, you'd have to pretend you have bounce off a little more. So it turned out that Deceit was important, but losing that Catharsis might have been a poor decision actually, since it would have put some pressure. Yeah, so do this on Earthbender's Ascension makes sense to me. You get to essentially ramp a lot. Well, you want to always transform Ashling first, by the way, with these two triggers, because then you get information on the mana you have. So in this case, we'll pay. So we'll lose a Steam Vents. Well, that is frustrating. I can't attack because the Ashling would die. So we're just going to pass turn, which is, you know, unfortunate. I could almost regret bottoming this Catharsis, but there were so many elementals that were much better. Like, it'd be good here because I'd be able to do pressure, but I think it was correct to try to get to Roaming Throne or Winter Night Stories. I mean, now I can cast any top deck, but of course, except maybe Cinderflock. But I'm well behind, of course. Like, I mean, I have 8 lands. Got rid of 2. We decided to not die, but yeah. I do like that the Harmonizer deck can essentially be both a combo deck. Like, I had to decede on that turn to get rid of the card, right? But like, it's still a mid-range deck. It's still like digging cards. Like, if I didn't do it, I would have lost the game. But my opponent's like drawing a bunch of cards, so that's something I really like about this Temur Harmonizer deck. It's very cool. Also, this Earthbender's Ascension will go off soon. But yeah, just waiting for the stock up to resolve. As for draws, I want any reasonable action, honestly. Like, Winter Night's probably like top of the range of cards I might want to draw, but you know, you can go Vibrant Swiftfulness. I'm so far behind, I just need anything to do it. Like, even the Catharsis, I would have at least done something, of course. Yeah. Well, this is as a sorcery, so we are gonna flip Ashling, and we're gonna. So this is important. There's Detect Intrusion. The list does not have any hard counter magic except Spell Snare, so I'm not gonna need to cavern this. I'll just do this. Name Elemental. Let me double check. We have full bore. This is sorcery. Should be safe to attack for a point of damage here. Next turn, there's more than enough. Like this Fabled Passage. If it's Harmonizer Wild Boar, I guess like you could block, but it's already 7, 14, plus this is 16. Maybe not attacking is correct. It's kind of close, but I'm just gonna not attack here to. Yeah, so we're not going to attack here, but I might be missing a point of damage. And that point of damage might matter a lot down the line, but we'll see. Yeah. Could consult for, what is this, 7 cards? That's pretty good here, too. Like, you don't even need to kick this. It's like, looking at 7 cards so much. The next turn, if there is nothing, you still get to Burst Lightning this Roaming Throne. But yeah, prefers to kick the Consult. So green, green, blue. This should be lethal here. I'll pretend to have a bounce off, but he's clearly not going to play around it. Just no chance. Like, yeah, 7, play some other land here. Yeah, they'll do it because now it's 16, and then it doesn't matter how I block, but let's say for sake of argument, I do this. The thing is detect intrusion. I would need like literally 2 bounce offs. So like the combo is on with like protection. There's nothing I can do, which is fine. Still thinking the starting hand was fine. It is awkward, but like not sure what I would have exactly mulliganed to, and it's better to try to get action, especially with the surveil land. All right, for sideboarding, it can act as a mid-range deck, and the Deceit's really good. You kind of need it. While there is, I still explore. There's really not much going on with the graveyard generally. I'm not too worried about this scoring Sandman. So we'll keep the 1 pit, and that's fine. Seers are good. Seers are great. Obviously, they're not great against Earthbending Ascension in some spots. Spell Snare is a little difficult. It does stop some pretty key cards like Consult. You can also protect with Seer here. It's a little mediocre, to be fair. And this counter is like... I think this is pretty good because it counters the Wild Boar sometimes, too. Disdainful Stroke stops the Mightform Harmonizer, so it's probably fine. Cards I don't really like. I think we can play the mid-range value deck. I don't think you need more than... the Wistfulness is probably one of the weaker cards. I don't think I need too many of these accelerants. The bounce offs are kind of important, so let's look at the interaction here. Roaming Thrones seem great because they basically don't die. I don't think you want Catharsis. I think we can cut Asunder Flock. Vibrance doesn't really do much here. We'll just trim these. Let's see what else I could do here. Don't really want to cut a land. I hate cutting a land. I know in that game it looked like it, but I could cut one more Sunder Flock. It's kind of weak, except against Basing Say. All right, let's do this. It's possible I should have put in more the Spell Snares, but I think Detect Intrusion does a lot of the work. But it kind of shows the power of the deck, right? Like, yes, I prevented again turn 4 combo, but even after that, like you kind of have to. You can't just give them infinite time. You have to lock them out of the game. Pretty clever deck, honestly. And yeah, having to keep the 4 bounce offs maybe a bit aggressive. Well, I don't like this hand either. This is also a lot of lands, but you have Disdainful Stroke, Deceit. I'll try it. I suspect it's not the best, but we do have black. I don't think I'm gonna Thoughtseize turn 2, but I might as well play Starting Town here, and I can give myself the option. It's possible like trimming on Flame Braiders is incorrect, but it's usually in the dark what I like to do in some spots. This is an interesting tank. I guess Mana's a bit awkward trying to figure out if you want to keep up red. Okay, the answer was no. I could Thoughtseize this turn. Not really going to get a better turn, I think. Because next turns I can play my Lance tapped and keep counter magic up. Let's see. I don't want... So it's kind of weird because Disdainful Stroke works versus Ice Still. I have Detection Intrusion for stock up. I think it's best for me to take the fret here, and then I'll take the stock up after. So play this tapped. There's not actually that many hard counters. There's like one Izzet scatter, so this Vibrant should do reasonable work. What's going on here? Consult was the top deck. It is weird, I guess, to take the card that Disdainful Stroke hits, but yeah, all right. So this. Ooh, Winter Night Stories maybe here. Sorry, I have one of the deck trackers, so it like spoils you, like just because of how the thing works. But yeah, I mean, if I'm not gonna Winter Night, when am I gonna Winter Night? I don't really want to discard either of these, but 2 lands is a lot. I guess Vibrance gets me a land. Yeah, I don't really want to discard these, so I'll discard the Winter Night and the Breeding Pool. And then I'll play a tap Breeding Pool. My plan next turn is to probably Roaming Throne Winter Night. It dies. It depends if there's 4 mana up, then I might just Vibrance, but we'll see. Yeah, just playing around like a Spell Snare makes sense to me. So yeah, we're gonna go Elemental, Roaming Throne, Elemental. It can get seared, but like that takes the whole turn, so it's not the end of the world. That was a draw. Which one do I like the least? I don't really need 2 copies of Vibrance. The next turn I can go I could go Deceit, but I don't think I don't want to, but I can. So yeah, this should be Seer, I suspect. Yeah. While I'm tapped out. I lose the Winter Night, but this, yeah, I don't really want to play the Seek this turn, but it's, I think if I'm gonna play it a turn, that's the one. This is probably the cleanest one. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna do this. Pay 2 life. Yeah, just this. Okay. So there's Winter Night and Full Bore. There's no fetch land, so Full Bore is not actually doing anything. Honestly, I could take this Winter Night and then Pit of Offerings it if it's not played. I don't really care about Detect Intrusion. You know, let's just. I mean, I could see like 5 mana play the Winter Night here. That seems reasonable to me. And then hopefully we don't get got, I guess. But it needs a lot. This is a lot of cards. Okay, so that's unfortunate for me. Wow, Fabled Passage as well. That is very very punished, as they say. Very punished. Yeah, that's a lot of card draw. That was a lot of cards out of one. Detect Intrusion's kind of nice. Okay, I think for a step, we want to attack. Then what? I could Vibrance for an untapped land. The problem is now there's enough mana for Detect Intrusion up, so it's not like it helps. I think I just need to put the most power possible while this Ice Still's in play. So we're gonna go Wistfulness. I think that's the most power, and it threatens lethal right away. Yeah, if there's a Harmonizer off the top, there's one, I guess. We are gonna get to exile it at least. All right, so Yeah, I can't like keep Detect Intrusion up because it just won't work. So. Oh, could Detect Intrusion the Wistfulness trigger here? I don't really mind. That's actually probably quite good for me. I might not even Winter Night if that happens. Just because I get to return the deceit. I didn't think about that, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't, to be honest. Oh, the bounce offs also. Doesn't help because I need 2 mana. Like, for next turn, it's fine, but not this turn. Think in this spot, I want to lose the other Wistfulness. Yeah, because bounce off doesn't work against Detect Intrusion. No matter what I do here, like, I essentially only have 1 spell, so it doesn't matter. I might as well do this. This might get countered, but I don't think so. Yeah, more lands. Why not? All this damage is starting to add up the wild boar and everything, but I think it's still fine. He said, he says with a lot of confidence, right? Fortunately, yeah, like hitting both fetch lands was really come on. Hitting both fetch lands was really bad for me here. Because I can't exile all these fetches. Actually, can I? I think I'm better off exiling Winter Night, the Fable, than the Escape Tunnel. But yeah, hopefully just not Harmonizer. That's basically... I mean, it doesn't really matter here, right? So... what can you do? I think this was fine. I just had to fade a draw or two, and I did not. So, I mean, because like it's just too much interaction, right? I can't like keep skipping my turn. You have to like hard cast, just hope this doesn't happen, and when it does, it does. Well, good games. Yeah, just like the 1-2 punch here. All right, well, that'll do it. Yeah, and if you want to play this deck, I think for our season, I would like try to engineer it for the winners metagame from the Pro Tour, because it'll be quite different to what I faced there. But yeah, it's a cool deck. This matchup's probably a bit unfavorable, but obviously they're a lot more than it looks. All right, so this match is against Lessons, which I think still survives after the Pro Tour, to be honest. Didn't actually face this matchup at the Pro Tour itself, so best guess. I am playing against the Otters version, which is worth highlighting. So yeah, we'll do our best. I am going to keep this. It is a little awkward life-wise because I'd really like to Breeding Pool. But if there's like a Grand, that's a problem. So we're going to keep, but I'm not sure. If I see Grand, I will probably have to play starting town turn 1. If I don't, I will probably just play Breeding Pool to get a bit of offerings. Since I do want a Winter Night on turn 3. Catharsis here is by far the one of the weaker cards, but... Oh, something important to note with Lessons. You want to strand their firebending Lessons, so I almost never play... I would advise to not play Flame Raider generally. So Grand. Good news is we got Secluded Courtyard. So we're going to actually play that first here. What do you mean? Elemental. It's possible to play starting turn here, but I definitely want to kill this Grand this turn. The list in this case only has 2 It'll Quench as main. So, hoping to not walk into that. So another Courtyard's nice, but I think 1 one starting town is not the end of the world from a pay with red. Grand has to go. There's just no option here. Storm Chaser's talent discard. All right. The best card in this matchup is Wistfulness, just because you want to get rid of Monument talent, and then Vibrance if there's Grand. Just buy time, get to your elementals, win. Roaming Throne is a problem. So what's this? Monument? Yeah. So setting up the engine and I'm on the draw. It's okay. This was a little tough because Ashling's good, but I think I am best off playing Winter Night Stories here. I could use Starting Town. It's probably going to cost me about the same amount of life as the game goes on. Yeah. So we're going to play that. So we have Wistfulness. That's good. I will discard an Ashling. Yeah, so obviously there's a lesson stack. It's going to do its thing. I don't have, though, a Cavern of Souls yet, so that's a problem. So yeah, we're going to probably create a treasure token here. Yeah. If there's a land, probably go land and activate level 2 here. I think that's best, but we'll see. Yeah, the games where you have, I mean, pre-board it's fine because there's only 2 Eloquentias, but what are we at? 1 lesson, so it'll take some time. Yeah, as long as Roaming From doesn't get Eloquential, it costs at least the whole turn. But yeah, the engine's there. I could also evoke Wistfulness. That isn't actually that bad, but I think it's worth the high roll on Roaming Throne. The alternative would be to go Wistfulness Ashling, which isn't too bad at 2. And I could go Roaming Throne Winter Night. That might be actually okay. I think if this Talon gets put to level 2, actually that might be a better play. Oh, Grand, that's annoying. Vibrance, huh? There's 2 cards. Okay, so I could Roaming Throne and then next turn completely obliterate everything. Roaming Throne makes attacking awkward here. So Combustion Technique doesn't work. There's no Iros, but there might be Boomerang Basics here. But then next turn I get to Wistfulness. This is tough. I could just... I think it isn't actually that bad to go... Yeah, Roaming Throne the turn after. Just... Vibrance this Grand, Wistfulness this Monument, or even this Artist Talent, and just strand the hand. I think that's what we should do. So I'm going to play, these are both Elementals, yeah. It's a little bit of a small waste, but... green, please. So we're going to lose up this Artist Talent... And then I'm going to lose a lot of life to do this, but it's worth it. Yeah. Yep. Well, that prevented a lot of problems here. Unfortunately, I am using up a lot of good cards and losing life in the process, but you do what you have to do here. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, Artist Talent is still better to get. Like, it just works with anything. Monument only works with, like, very small section of cards. Okay, so we're going to go Roaming Throne plus Winter Night Harmonize. So we're going to take 2 here. I'm actually going to just play this first and then take 2 just for an arena shenanigans. Might get killed, but... Yeah, alright, so Flame Braider goes away. The card doesn't do anything in this matchup. Yeah, so unfortunately here... I do want to draw into Pit or Vibrance. That's fine, that takes the whole turn. Here we're going to probably go Deceit. Oh, this is really strong. So I can go... I guess Deceit here is fine. It makes me a bit weak to a top deck. accumulate, whereas Vibrance doesn't. Like I can Vibrance for pits, but I think it's better to get rid of this now. So we're gonna name Elemental, and then I'm gonna kick this. Worth noting, always bounce the monument first, because if you discard while it's in play, it's bad. So there's free monuments. As a result, I don't really care about this combustion technique. If my opponent wants to combustion by this seat, that's not a problem. Let's just get rid of this basics, honestly. Like this is non-problematic. Like the seat dying is nothing. It would be 6 lessons, which is the actual awkward part. Is like Pit of Offerings is not that good now. Yep. Could also play 2 monuments. I think that's reasonable. But I don't think you'd want to here. It's possible I was wrong with Catharsis in hand, actually. How much was that? 6? Yeah, maybe. So now there's enough lessons that Vibrance is not as good, but I think we can Catharsis this turn with full kicker. Just put on a clock. Yeah, so that's going to be game over. Probably has to keep the monument for this card, but yeah, it's just attack, and I'll just cast this. Yeah. Yeah. Our impression was the matchup was relatively good, but yeah. So they're playing the Storm Chasers Talent version. So this was more interesting. If you play against like the version of the lessons without it, it pretty much becomes your deck against a control deck. Pretty straightforwardly, but with Talent it gets closer because like Cinderflock is something you'd never want, but against the Talent version, it's against the Storm Chasers version, it's closer. Because otherwise, yeah, you board out these bounce offs, these Cinderflocks, super easy. And these Flame Braiders. We are going to trim these. Their Wildfire Bending lesson, I suspect, comes out. Yeah. At the Pro Tour, I thought there'd be more lessons, so I had a Furred Spell Snare. If you have a lessons metagame, I'd play more. We can play Detect Intrusion. I think against the Talent version, I want some answers to Grand and the tokens, so Pyroclasm's okay. We put in the Pit and the Soul Guide. Yeah, that allows us to cut all the Cinderflocks, which I think are really bad, and we can cut off. I want to cut off as many bounce offs as I can. Let's see here. I don't really want Seer. Ral is 5, so the problem. Yeah, so Catharsis Deceit are the worst elementals in this matchup. I am also boarding in an extra land, so I could board out a land. I think on the draw I'll board out a... Oh, wait, no, I can't board out Breeding Pool. I'll board out a... I can't board it out because you need the green. And I need the red too, technically. Guess Pit is an extra source for... You know, I could board out the Quarry. It's very rare that I would use Quarry in this matchup. Like, you have so much value. And let's put the... I think the seed on the draw, and we could do Catharsis if I end up on the play. I don't think the seed is that good in this matchup. I think it's filler. But, yeah, you need some. I kept 2 bounce offs because there's otters. Normally, you in the deck, if you have... if there's not otters, you should cut all of them. So I'll keep... It is a bit awkward to not have the second green here, but a lot of lands I could get there, so... This is tough, because I do want to get rid of this, but I can't really with the way this hand is set up. I think it's too important to have access to green, so I'm gonna do this. And if I draw an elemental land, it's very unfortunate, but at least the elemental land I can play and set up for a Vibrance the turn after. Discards Firebending, yeah. Yeah, that's why this is so strong. You get to lose cards that have no value. Okay, could walk into Combustion here. That would be not great, but I do need to play this out on curve, in my opinion. I think on the draw, I'd rather lose this Winter Knight or Deceit. I don't mind the blue in this matchup. I think I'm going to discard this Winter Knight since... Yep. Ah, drew a top red. That's awkward. Is this Combustion? That would be rough. Could be worse than Combustion, I guess. Could be like Abandon, Lesson, and just go off next turn. But yeah, this is why the elemental lands are so important. Like, the difference between... Like, this hand with one elemental land is substantially better. It's fine. I mean, oh, it has to... Okay. I don't think there's a third Firebending Lesson. Oh, wow. I mean, I don't think there's a fourth, I guess. Let's just prevent a damage. If this is the fourth Firebending Lesson, congrats, right? Yeah, that's what I figured. Jeez. That's a lot of cards. Yep. Yep. Happens. I'm guessing there's a removal spell for this Ashling. I mean, if not, it's good by me, but I would imagine. Pyroclasm. Alright. I don't mind that at all. Getting rid of the Grand's fine by me. There must be an extra one, but that doesn't matter. So I can't Vibrance for green and, like, that's the problem. This turn I can't Vibrance to get Pit. I do have Detect Intrusion. It's not optimal. It's not really here. So what do we have? Accumulate, Pyroclasm. I think I just play the Ashling given the play patterns, actually. I don't think I have time for this Detect Intrusion, so I'll play Ashling. Discard Detect Intrusion. I don't also have black for Deceit. I think next turn I would have it. No. Yeah, let's discard this Deceit. Pyroclasm. That's kind of funny. Okay. I don't think Pit of Offerings is going to do enough here, so I might as well. I really don't want Island. I want a land that produces elemental mana. Or Cavern. I'm going to guess there's another Grand in hand. Yep. Yeah, and there's a lot of lessons, so Pit isn't really gonna do it. The thing with like cards like Ashling, like it does look like, yeah, there's a null. Oh, for Roaming Throne? Okay. Don't really expect that, to be honest. I think I'm gonna just get a Cavern, which isn't optimal here, but yeah. And then I'll keep these Wistfulnesses for afterwards. So we're gonna pay 2 life. There's a few too many lessons, and I really need a land. So let's just get a Cavern of Souls. And then Pyroclasm. If there's a third Grand, which given the way the game progressed is actually pretty likely. Well, we'll deal with that when we get there. Our best turn here is, yeah, not that. It was not that, I can tell you that. Yeah. Yeah, so awkward, but that could happen post-board. The threats are a little more diverse, so. Our best draw by far is another Vibrance here. It's just probably be close. It wouldn't be lights out, but it'd be very strong. Yeah, the counter magic goes away at least. So we do have the Throne. I think I'm going to play Throne just because with Winter Knights it's so strong. Okay, we got Vibrance. Oh, and this horrifying bounce off too. I think I can discard one Wistfulness here. Yeah, I'm gonna play 0 given how this sideboard happened. My opponent is not valuing their Storm Chaser's talents highly, so I shouldn't either. Yeah. Yeah. This roaming From is surviving. So that's good, right? Yep, draw a lot of cards here. What else are we doing? Well, Roaming Throne has Ward, so that will survive for sure now. Right? There's no. I'm checking. We have the list. I can't imagine there's anything here. Like the Ward just stops it. Oh, are we okay? The question is, I guess, the Ral. Do you mind to sit here or not? Depending on what I draw, I might play a bit differently here. So I'm gonna wait till the draw to see what happens. This is Grand number 4. So if we get rid of this, the deck starts looking normal. Pit is not enough in this spot, unfortunately. Let's see. And the Ral is also at 5. That's the other problem. So good Vibrance, but I can't get rid of... Oh, I could get rid of Ral, but then I leave Artist Talent Monument in play. So that's something to consider. Is basically I can deal with a part here of the thing, but not all of it. Like this might be the best bounce off's going to be is this turn. So the question... So I could bounce this off and then go Vibrance this, and then I can Wistfulness while there is this engine. Honestly, I think that's fine because I could get rid of both, but like getting rid of Ral is like pretty high priority. It gets rid of Grand and Ral, right? Yeah. So let's, because I could also evoke and do all of this and have Detect Intrusion up. It's also pretty good, but then I'm out of cards. Let's see, red, bounce off, green. No, I think my intuition's correct. The Vibrance play. Yeah. So we're gonna choose this and this. So this way as well, if there's an ill Quencha, it's fine. I'm going to get another... I'll get the last Pit, and I'll get another Cavern after. This one can name Golden for the future if I need to. So now the opponent might like want to deal with this Vibrance, but I'm pretty sure I have to accept that. And obviously, like maybe the play's wrong. It's just more like I'm giving you, like, I'm just playing an option. I think it's correct, but it's really close. If it wasn't for the RAL, I'm pretty sure it's just correct to get rid of these two, of course. Yeah. So Vibrance goes. No. I'll put a Shroud to 6, which doesn't matter here. Are we doing a treasure token? Yep. I have to let this resolve. Yeah, Ral's. Okay, so Ral's gone, but we still have Artist Talent, Monument to Endurance. There are no more Grants, so those are gone. No matter what I do, Accumulate Wisdom is going to have Kicker. Unless I top deck Soul Guide Lantern, then the game... then there's not much. But I basically need to, yeah, hope this survives, which is unlikely. Not impossible, but, like, let's see, there's... Oh, wow, yeah. Well, let's see what happens this turn. I don't know. Like, this deck can go crazy, right? There's nothing I can do here. If my opponent kills Roaming Throne, I basically have to Wistfulness. This does look like killing Roaming Throne here, right? 2, pay ward, discard. Yeah, the last combustion technique here. Well, no, there's 2 more, I guess. That's why the Lessons deck is so powerful. It just digs through everything. Yeah, so that's going to happen. Discarding a Monument. I guess that makes sense. So now you get to draw 2 as well, which is super strong. Yep. All right. I think I want to keep up the tech. Yeah. I might need Golem on this, right? Catharsis works, Deceit works, Wistfulness works, Vibrance works. So we can name Golem here from a safety perspective. And this is going to be for double kicker. I'm going to exile... I think this one. Yeah, there's too many lessons, right? Like, yeah, I'll discard a Pit of Offerings. My top lands are better. Then I have to counter basically anything. The other thing that's nice about Detect Intrusion is, I mean, I don't have Winter Night now, but like you can Winter Night, yeah. So I expected this, unfortunately. Very, very unfortunate. The way it was played, the discard, it felt like it was that, and then I could have left my opponent with just 1 Monument, with 1 gone. It's possible like getting the Monument was correct. Even without this, it's tough. Like, yeah. But they might have had the 4th Monument in hand too, right? Because they pitched 1. Yep, that makes sense to me. So let's... I think I have to let this resolve, yeah. And then they get... I'm going to let them choose their options first. And I'm going to counter this Abandoned Attachments. So it's draw a card and draw a card. Yeah, they're boarding out Storm Chaser's Talent, so I don't need to worry about it post-board. Yeah, treasure token. Yeah, I lose 6. What else are we doing here? Oh, killing the Wistfulness? Okay. I mean, if I top deck a bounce off, it's a disaster. But, like, I mean... Do you have to kill it now? I guess if you're really worried about bounce off, you saw one copy. Yeah. Okay, well, at least here... Spell Snare. Just in time. Alright, so I'm going to attack for 6. There's not really much else I can do here. I will cast Roaming Throne. Name Elemental. I'll play this, but it doesn't really matter here. There is Storm Chasers, I guess, technically, so we'll lose. Like, I don't know. I suspect they don't have it, but just pretend. Yep. Yep. And this should kill me. I should be losing this game. Yeah, that's gonna do it. All right. It is possible that turn, like with the Ral, the Grand, I should have gotten the enchantments. That was a complicated turn. Like I should have maybe done it all, like just sacrificed all my resources, gotten rid of both, and then yeah, and like yeah. I think at this point the only card let's see, 13. This is a tough one. I'm gonna let the stuff resolve first. Just 12 cards left. Asset Scatter. Okay, so there's 12 cards left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you have a Ral that has not activated yet. This one draws 3. What am I even... Yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters. I'll just play the Spell Snare here. But I don't think it matters. I think I'm dead. Like, the only thing that can make me, I think, win in this spot is... Because there's only 2 monuments. The third one... I mean, the fourth one would get me, right? Yeah, so it's over. Yeah. Any spell does a job here. Just do it on upkeep. Like, definitely don't do anything here. Pass. Do it on upkeep. I'm at 9. Yeah, so, you know, whatever. Then... Discard 1, make me lose 9. There we go. All right. Yeah, that turn was complicated because I'd be so low on resources. So, yeah. Okay. These bounce offs, given the post-board plan for my opponent, are bad. Strokes, I mean, it gets Ral, but that's about it. I want the 26 land. Again, and we want the Catharsis and giving Firebending Lesson, right? Like my opponent keeping Pyroclasm and Firebending Lesson is pretty good for me, right? Because they're afraid of Flame Braider. But I suspect it's better to stop the Lessons deck than your own engine because your talk decks are just so much better. But I might board out the Firebending Lessons, actually. They didn't see Flame Braider at all, so they might have figured it out. Yeah, and yeah, you can see the damage of not having one of the multicolor lands. There's 13 in the deck, which is a ton. And I've seen some lists start to trim on them, and you just can't. Like, you need them. It's part of the cost of the deck. So I got Pit of Offerings, Soul Guide Lantern. This is a really awkward hand. Because if this doesn't hit anything, it's a disaster. Don't really want to mulligan a hand this premium, but I think I have to. Alright, well, this is much better. We'll keep 6. Funnily enough, it might be the Soul Guide Lantern here, because we have a Vibrance too, so, yep. We'll start with... I'm probably only going to want to kill Gran this early on, so we'll... actually, yeah, that's the only thing. So, Steam Vents first. It's close between killing Gran and playing the Ashling, but I think I should be playing Ashling. But it is very close. There's also a lot of counter magic brought in. So yeah, we'll just name Elemental, play Ashling. I'm going to discard this Deceit. And there's a stop, so there's a Firebending Lesson. It's also possible that getting Cavern is correct here. We'll see though. Seer. Alright. Let me think what I want to do here. Do want to keep this as the kicker card. So I think I'm going to just get a Cavern of Souls. Could do it with the Elemental Land, yeah. It's quite possible the Pyroclasm shouldn't have been kept in, given I see on no orders. Alright, well, there's Arch's Talent. This is a bit interesting, but I think I'm supposed to... Am I supposed to wait? What if there's a Ral? I guess I have a Ral Pyroclasm. It's really tough. I think I have to... Like, I'll just put a stop. I'll just go full control here. Still a little silly to miss the turn, but like, yeah. I think if this was another elemental, I might have done it, like if it was something that gave more value, but... Ideally, my opponent levels up Artist Talent this turn. So that's a total disaster for them. It kind of makes sense, right? Like, it's incentivized. Okay, yeah, you play the second one, sure. Elemental, then we're gonna do the full everything. Exile the level 2 one. Yep. So this is tough because Winter Night is really good. I don't think I need to tempo it. So I'm gonna just keep it in hand and discard the land. First lesson too. Yeah, it's also the first lesson. I do need to... Now I need to worry about the graveyard. I had a few turns that were... Yeah, so level that up. Okay. So we're looking at 2 spells here, whatever they are. I really hope this could get there. Yeah, there's the response. That's bad. Yeah. Is this a lesson? Yep. Yeah, this is gonna be really good. The lesson deck is really good. What can I mean, you know, and having to bottom the Soul Guide Lantern there was obviously not optimal. I forgot. Yeah, it's correct not to discard Winter Night because you can full do it. So both modes. Because I can just discard it this turn as well, right? So yeah. So now I do need my opponent to choke on cards essentially. So I'm gonna attack to make sure not to tap the wrong one. And this. Catharsis looks really strong here. I'm gonna. What should I discard here? Pyroclasm isn't too bad in case my opponent just plays random stuff. Let's see. There's enough lessons. I don't really want to discard. I think I'm just gonna discard these. This Winter Night stories. These two Winter Nights actually. Yeah, I won't have like enough time. So now my opponent has a lot of cards, but they do have to deal with these two. And they don't have a cost reducer. Although Grand is quick. That's excellent for me. That's like ideal. Like if they started with Grand or something, then yeah, they could come back. That's just the disaster incarnate. Yeah, so Pyroclasm, game's over. That said, I think it's cooler to do this. But it might be wrong, actually. No, it's not. It doesn't matter. Sorry. I am trolling, but 7. I'll just Pyroclasm here. Yeah. I am being very silly. I'll just play this on Elemental. And then that's enough, right? 7 gets blocked, and then yeah, more enough. I think it's cooler to show the Catharsis, honestly, but yeah, Pyroclasm would do the job here, of course. Technically more damage. All right. Yeah, so I think one big recap for me of this game is if you're playing Little Essence side 2, is like Firebending Lesson is just, I know you are, the mindset is, oh, I have to deal with Flamebreader or I'm in trouble and I need a lesson count. I think it's better to stay on Storm Chaser as opposed to Boomerang Basics. Like you could always Boomerang Basics the 2/2, right? Flamebreader if the person keeps it. But like you have to think about it from my side of the matchup, right? And on my side, if I Flamebreader into your Firebending Lesson, that's a total disaster. It gives you a lesson, you tempo me out, it's disaster incarnate, right? So the thing is, I'm very incentivized to take out Flamebreader. So like, yes, you could go, oh, maybe they still keep it, but the incentives are so strong for me to get rid of it. So that's the thing. There is the secondary mode, of course, paying 5 to getting an Elemental, but that's just not a winning line. So I think the Boomerang Basics is better. Like just like bouncing it is enough in a lot of spots because like recasting it often takes my turn. Or I can't Winter Night Stories or whatnot. So that would be the big thing. And if you're playing, obviously, the Elementals deck and you're watching this, you're probably interested in it. I like not casting Flamebreader into Firebending as much as you can. You'll just discard it to Winter Night Stories. There are a lot of randomly bad cards, so maybe you do cast the Flamebreader at some point, but yeah. All right. That's going to do it for this one.